We'd like to get them in. We're not finalised just yet. There's still a little bit to go through, so we still had 26 odd out there today, and we'll make that final decision over the coming 24 hours. We just want to make sure they're right to go, and at this point, off a shorter break, it's tough to do that just at this point. So I won't be able to give you much on the team. Normally I try to give you as much as I can, but we haven't locked it. And for a few others, so we're having a look at a couple other guys as well. It's a long season, and we'll make some decisions around that sort of medium, longer term as well while we're going through. That doesn't mean we'll definitely make change. We just want to see how both Bull and Lukey come up, and then make the decision from there. Yeah. Well, he's in that. Yeah, he's in that category. But there are a few. Tommy will do that more often than not. A session on, session off. Murph was the same today. So there's a few guys that are, as you can imagine, after a couple of rounds and a bit of travel, a little bit banged up, but they'll get themselves ready and right to go, and we'll make some decisions off the back of that. Yeah. Again, that depends on the decision we make, but he's a chance. Yeah, Elliot's put his name up. The guys that won't, Fogg will play Saturday morning, so he'll play at Noarlunga, and so we'll chase Jones at this point. But the 26 odd we had out there, we'll have a look at it this afternoon and lock that away. Yeah, another week like we saw last week. We were really pleased with the way he went about it last weekend, and he played a bit of a hybrid role, on ball, forward, showed what he can do in around the footy, and we'd spoken about it over the last few weeks with him, and he's taking his game to another level. We're really pleased with it. We just want to, and it's a tough one, the balance of bringing him in too early. Our midfield at the moment are performing well, in around stoppage, and our seek around the footy's been pretty good. So, for Fogg, if we can get him in there at a point, we'd really like to do that, but the timing's got to be right. We want to make sure the timing for him and for the team's right. Yeah, we've seen that as a weapon, haven't we? Like for a lot of clubs over the last few years, that player that is explosive, strong and dynamic around the footy, but then has the ability to go forward and score and hit the scoreboard. Dusty's he's the number one in the competition at the moment. Danger does similar. Petraka. We look at a lot of other sides, what they're doing. We look at individual players. Ultimately, though, Foggy's his own player. He's not going to try and be someone else. We'll get his game to a level that hopefully, sooner rather than later, we're talking about that Fogarty role. That's the goal for him. So Chase will play Saturday morning for medical sub last week, didn't get activated. We need him to play a full game of footy. He played the week prior to that and was challenged. It was pretty tough hit out against the Eagles the last time he played there. So we're looking forward to him being able to get his hands dirty and enjoy the contest. You have a few more guys around him this week that are back, from injury. So I think that'll help him and support him in around stoppage. We're picking teams to perform every week, so at a level. So round one we picked a side and a lot of people didn't pick us to win the game. Well, we go into every game. We can win every game of footy. If you don't think that way, well, you've got some issues. So we're not managing players for particular rounds or more importantly, opponents. Any side can beat any side in the competition. So we'll pick a side that we believe is going to perform well that week. But we also then adjust slightly depending on players' fitness, soreness levels, what the opposition do look like from a size point of view, tall and small. That's where we make our decisions. Not so much about the win-loss. We want to really put out a product or a brand of footy that our members are proud of, and so we'll select with that in mind. Yeah, it does. We look at what they've got as well. They will probably bring in some height. We don't know that for sure, so we'll have to wait and see what they do around second ruck. But yeah, that's definitely part of our selection process. Is what are we coming up against as far as talls and smalls. Yeah, I think we're seeing it in games. We're seeing cramp towards the end of, especially these first 2 rounds. I think as the players start to, acclimatise to the longer quarters, they definitely get their match fitness as they play more and more games. But when you come to a 6-day break and travel, that's where the challenges come in. Staying away from home, hotels, flights, and then coming off into a 6-day break, we'll have a really good look at that. It doesn't mean we'll definitely make change, but it definitely crosses our mind. We're looking at that as a coaching group and trying to do what's best for the team. Yeah, well, we support Port Adelaide with their view, 100%. There are 16 teams in the competition that we play in that are able to play that sub after being activated at AFL level, and so the 2 of us are at a disadvantage. Sorry?
Do you think the situation in Queensland might have thrown the Gold Coast Suns team a little bit with their preparation?
We're going off on a different one? Okay, good. Look, I don't know. I can't comment on... Obviously, they're here earlier than what they normally would be. Is that an advantage for them or a disadvantage? We have to wait and see. That may help Stewie and the group settle in. Being away from home, we've seen last year's quite a challenge, but I've no doubt they'll come to play. Well, that's why we're supportive of what Port Adelaide have come out with. For us, ultimately, we're about developing our players. For a player to play 5 minutes of an AFL game, but then not be able to get a game in for that particular weekend, it puts us on the back foot. It hinders the development of that player, and not only that player, but also his teammates. Not being able to play alongside those guys. So, we're looking at the bigger picture with a lot of this. How do we develop our younger group? How do we get a squad that's ready to play at AFL level? This rule doesn't help with that. Yeah, again, these are things we're looking at the moment, and we probably spend far too much time on that decision when we're picking a side. We're going back to the days when the sub was just a sub vest. But it is a challenge for us because, as you said, we're all about making a stronger group and developing individuals. From an official point of view, at this point, I'm not sure whether we have. I can't comment on that. But we'll definitely throw our support behind Port Adelaide. Yeah, similar to Tommy, similar. D-Mac's going to manage himself throughout the week, so go pretty hard at our main session Tuesday night and then manage slightly in a captain's run, similar to Tom Duday, similar to Murph today. So, it's one where you've got to be careful not to look into it too much with D-Mac. He's a very experienced player. He knows what he needs for a captain's run. Some of the guys who are a little bit younger, they want to get a bit of a buzz up. Ned McHenry, we almost can't stop him on a captain's run. He's that pumped, we're one day out from a game, but it's a little bit different for some of our older guys. Yeah, he stuck himself on there, hasn't he? I don't necessarily want to see him knock him off his perch, but I want to see him at least trying to, which, we're seeing that at the moment. As we talked about Fogg, Himmelberg is playing some good footy, so they are knocking on the door, which is a good thing for us. That pressure from below puts pressure on Tex. Tex is teaching these guys what it is to be a professional footballer. It's making our squad a lot stronger, and that's what we're after, that pressure from below. Yeah, there's a possibility we may play taller this week. Look, that's not for me to comment on. It's inappropriate for me to comment on a staff member from another club. So.